All right, so we are looking at Wednesday, January 20th. What I would like for you to do today is my test review. So you essentially have today and tomorrow to get it done. So I like it done by the end of the school day tomorrow by 4 p.m. So let me share my screen. All right, so in Canvas, you should see, it says unit 2. I need to change that to unit 1. It is unit 1. We used to switch these around. The test review. So it is 3 pages long. If we were in person, we would have done this, well, in class today. So I would like for you to work on this today and then get it turned in by tomorrow. If you can print this off, fabulous. Print it off and then get it turned in. All right, so nope. Hold on, somebody. Sorry. Let in my other folks. If you cannot print it in, I don't expect you to print it off, but I do expect you to write these out on a piece of notebook paper. And please do them in order, like put a Roman numeral 1, and then you'll add Roman numeral 2, then you'll subtract Roman numeral 3, you multiply. Now, they don't have to be in columns, but they do have to all be in there. Then we have some division, and then we have some composition using the f of x, g of x, and h of x, and then inverse functions with an equation and with a graph. We didn't talk about the graphs. So I'm okay if you don't do 4, 5, and 6, and it would be really hard to do those on your own, doing your own graphing. So we'll just kind of omit those questions on the test review. We'll come back when we're in person and look at graphing inverse functions because they're not as hard as you think, but it's going to be hard to do on a piece of notebook paper while you're at home. So we'll just kind of ignore those for now. So these questions, either printing off the piece of notebook paper or doing them on a piece, printing them off on a piece of printer paper and then doing them or on a piece of notebook paper. That is not what I wanted to show you. All right, so let me look in Canvas real quick. Let me pull it up in Canvas. Okay. All right, so Honors Algebra 2, Monday was MLK Day, Tuesday. So I've got my blank notes, I've got my recorded notes with the video. If you would like to see that paper that I wrote on, please just ask and it'll take me a couple minutes, but I can get that uploaded to you. Yesterday's assignment was on Delta Math. Not everyone in the world completed it. If you are one of those that did not complete it, you can complete it today by 4 p.m. for a late grade, but you do have to go in and create an account for Delta Math. So today I just updated this probably 10 minutes before we started the Zoom, but I would like for you to complete the review. So here is my review. So you can print it off or you can do it on your own piece of paper. Then you'll upload them to this study guide assignment. I'll be honest, I haven't finished this yet. So this is something I need to work on. Oh, it always does that. So it hasn't been published. Give me a few minutes and I'll get it published, but you will upload pictures of your work. So I'm expecting you to upload 3 pictures because the study guide is 3 pages. Now you can upload more than that if you need, but a minimum of 3 pictures, 1 for each page, will go in this submission when I get it ready to go. So tomorrow on Thursday, I will pretty much do the same, answer any questions that you have from the review, and just encourage you to get that turned in. So while we are recording, should we look at a Delta Math problem? All right, the dog just rang the bell. So I'm gonna pause the recording. Okay, so let's look at some Delta Math questions and kind of help go over some things and maybe make the assignment a little bit easier. All right. So, sorry, I'm struggling to find where these are located. All right, so we have composition of functions. Where is it at? Okay. So let's look at an example together. So what I'm not going to be able to do is show you my paper. I can annotate on here. Okay, maybe it's going to be really messy. So, all right, so g of f of x. I'm going to start with my g function. You always start with the first letter function that you see. So I need a 2 and then x and then minus 11. In this x, I'm going to put in the entire f function, which is 3 x squared plus 4x minus 7. So then I just need to deal with my order of operations. Thank goodness there's not an exponent applied to my x from my g function. So all I need to do is distribute and then combine like terms. So we end up with 2 times 3x squared plus 2 times 4x. And then minus 2 times negative 7, or 2 times negative 7 minus 14. Then I have a minus 11. So when I combine like terms, 6x squared plus 8x minus 15. The times that this gets tedious is when we have to square the x value. So this is a little bit messy, but
wait, is that minus 25 or minus 15?
Ooh, good call. Let me get rid of this. That should be a minus 25. So let me erase, because I have minus 14 and minus 11. So that should be a minus 25. I almost got it wrong. That would be embarrassing. So we have, and then I want my menu to pop up so I can type in my variable and my exponent. So 6x squared plus 8x minus 25. And I'm going to submit answer. Yes, I'm sure, and it is correct. So let's look at a new one. Let's find one where I have f of g. All right, so let me clear. All right, so for this problem, it's the same problem, but a different setup. So I start with the f. So this is equivalent to f of g of x. So that circle is not a multiply, it represents a composed of. So we do them in the same order. So I have x plus 10. This comes from my f function, which comes first. And then I'm going to plug in my entire g function, x squared plus 2x minus 7. There's nothing that needs to be applied with my exponent, so I don't need to square. There's not a multiplier, so I can just essentially drop the parentheses. Minus 7 plus 10. It's not the best plus. So then my answer, when I come down here, when I combine like terms, I wish I could move that stuff out of the way. I have x squared plus 2x, and then I have a minus 7 and a plus 10, so that's going to end up being a plus 3. All right, so let me go to All right, what was the other one? All right, let me stop the share and let me look up and see what the other one was. Did I give you just a composition of functions? Yes, and then multi-step inverse, okay. All right, so let me go back and share my screen. All right, so here is a composition of functions with the f and the g and a -5. So there's two approaches that you can do with this. I like to plug everything in at the same time. So I'm going to start with my f function, which is x minus 11. Then I'm going to plug in my g function, but my g function isn't going to use the x. I'm going to use a -5. Be careful with the -5, because if I square a negative number, then it's going to end up being positive. So parentheses are very helpful with all of these. So my g function has x squared plus 7x plus 5. And then my x is this innermost -5. It's a big negative. All right, so doing one thing at a time, I'm going to deal with my squared and my exponent. So -5 raised to the second is a positive 25. No parentheses needed. That's my only exponent, so I'm going to go ahead and do my multiplication here. So 7 times -5 will be a -35. And then I have a plus 5. And then I have a minus 11. So I'm going to deal with what's inside my parentheses here. So I have 25 minus 35. That's a -10 plus 5. So that's going to be a -5. And then I have a minus 11. So all together, my answer will be -16. All right, so these are just a little bit longer, not necessarily harder, but longer because I'm plugging in a specific number. All right, the beauty of the calculator is if you use Desmos or if you use like your handheld calculator, you can type this whole thing in. I can type this whole thing into the calculator, keep the parentheses, and it'll give you that -16. You want to do another one of these? Or you feel better?
I feel good with everything. I understand it better now.
Okay. All right, so let me go to inverse. All right, so we did it look like this it was multi-step, right? We had a level 1 and a level 2. All right, so let me clear my drawing. So I want to find my inverse function. So the first thing I need to do is switch my x and my y. So this is essentially y equals x to the 7th plus 2. So I'm going to switch them out. I'll have x equals y to the 7th plus 2. I need to solve for y. So the 2 needs to move over to the other side. I'm going to subtract it. And then I need to un-7th power. The un-7th power is the 7th root. So any root will cross out any exponent. So I have to take the 7th root of the whole right side. So the 7th root of y to the 7th is y. I have to take the whole 7th root of the other side. So I like to leave it in parentheses. Or not in parentheses, but put it underneath the whole radical. So here is my answer. So these are different. They both have x minus 2 and the 7th root, but this one is taking the entire 7th root of the x minus 2. Okay, let's look at another one. Let me clear my drawings. All right, so I want to find my inverse. This is essentially, y equals. So I'll have x is equal to 6, and then in parentheses y minus 9. So I have two options here, and it doesn't really matter which one you do first, but the 6 needs to move. I can either distribute it or I can go ahead and divide by it. I'm going to go ahead and divide by it. So if I divide this side by 6, I have a fraction. If I divide this side by 6, the 6 is gone. So I'm going to have x over 6 is equal to y minus 9. The 9 needs to move, so I'm going to add it. So I have x over 6 plus 9 equals my y. Let me show you the same problem if I had distributed. So if I distribute my 6, then I would have x is equal to 6y minus 54. If I add 54 to both sides, I'll have x plus 54 is equal to 6y. Then I divide by 6. I highly recommend when you're dividing on both sides, you divide every individual term by 6. 54 over 6 is 9. So it doesn't really matter how you start it, you'll get the same answer. So my answer here is x over 6 and then plus 9. Should we do one more or do you feel better? All right. So today, I want you to work on that test review with adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, composition, and inverse of polynomial functions. We will have a test next week, most likely on Tuesday. So this will count as your test review. You'll scan a document or take pictures and upload your document for the work. Hunter, yes. And then when we're back face-to-face next week on Monday, we'll do another like in-person review, and then our test will be on Tuesday. All right, so I'm gonna stop the recording. Be sure to message me with any questions that you have.